What's up, people? Welcome back to Mind Over Mike. I'm excited for today's episode. This is a big one. This is episode number 10 for us, so double digits. We're still doing it. I'm very excited about today's episode. This is an episode that really, since launching this pod, I kind of knew was going to have to happen at one point. I'm sure it'll probably happen several more times, hopefully, throughout the lifetime of the show. But it's a first in the history of all my podcasting. It is a first because today I'm joined by my own mother. That's pretty cool. It was fun. It was a very interesting conversation. I think she and I had both expressed some anxiety going into it about what we would talk about, where the conversation would go. And, rightfully so. There's a lot of potential there. But truthfully, we talk about a lot of really interesting things. I think we focused a lot on some of our mutual relationships, some of our interactions with other family members, and we dive into some of the psychology behind our decisions, and pretty often that led us into how she sees her own psychology live on through me, for better or worse. So it's very interesting. To be honest with you, it's a little all over the place in the best sort of way. We cover a lot of ground. We talk about a lot of different things, and hopefully, even if maybe you're not familiar with me or my family, you can relate some of the information to yourself and to your own family. And I think that in an effort to be more vulnerable, as we discuss during the episode, we go pretty in depth on some of the aspects of both her and my childhood. So hopefully that can relate to some of you as well. I do want to say, before we get started in the episode, I have some dates coming up that I'm very, very excited about. The first of which is going to be Saturday the 20th. Saturday, September the 20th. I'm going to be in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm going to be up there doing a Don't Tell Lexington show and maybe a couple other spots while I'm in town. So if you're listening to this from Kentucky and you want to support live comedy, that would be amazing. Don't Tell shows are always fun, no matter where you're at. And that's a great show. So come out to that one. On the 24th of September, I'm going to be down in Knoxville, Tennessee, doing a show there. I'm very excited about that. That's sort of my home away from home these days. So got a lot of fun people on that lineup, including a former guest of the show, Mr. John Pruitt. So he and I will be reliving the old glory days, and we'll be traveling together to that show. Very excited for that. You can catch Pruitt and I there on the 24th. Then on September the 27th, that's a Saturday as well, that is our next Don't Tell Tri-Cities show. That is our only show for the month of September, so we cooked up a big one. We've got a brand new venue. We've got a returning favorite headliner. I've got a real mixed bag of features on that one, all of which have been on a show at some point, none of which have been on the same show together. So we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna have fun. A lot of familiar faces, but fresh material, new folks. It's gonna be really fun. And that is one of our biggest crowds in a long time as well, potentially. So we'll see. I mean, sales are fine. So we got some tickets moved. If you want to buy a ticket, now's the time. If you're hearing this, please support live comedy. And you know what? Just for you, if you're listening to the show, full price. I don't have the authority, or I would. The next show I want to plug is on the 4th of October. That is a very special show as well. That is the Travis Stevenson and Friends show at the Jersey Hustle Comedy Club. That's down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I've done that club many times. Great folks who work there, and I'm always excited when I can do something with my good buddy Travis. So. And I've got some more dates in October that I'll be announcing soon. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the episode with none other than my own mom, Candice Hutchens. I guess we'll cut it in about 8 minutes.
I go there.
Yeah, we'll cut it in right there, maybe. 7:45. There's going to be a lot of this episode that's going to get cut, but I mean, that's the nature of the show.
I'm trying to make you work less.
Well, here's the deal. This episode, no matter what we talk about, it doesn't really matter because it's hands down going to be the most viewed episode. Because as soon as every comic I know sees the thumbnail, click. I mean, that's
because
you know why? Because they love to torment me, and they're gonna have a field day with this. I've already. I mean, I haven't even told. I think I maybe told Casey because he was just here. Spoiler alert: he'll be on next week. But there's a few that maybe know you're coming on or whatever. And I mean, yeah, it's gonna spread like wildfire. It's gonna be in every comedy group chat in the Southeast probably at some point. It's like
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it though?
I think it's good.
It's good for you. Maybe.
What do they say? Like no matter what kind of attention you get, it's good.
I don't think that's the saying.
I think that's.
I think it's no publicity is bad publicity is what we're aiming for.
Well, there's that too. That's another good saying.
What do they say? No attention.
That's two good sayings.
No attention that you get is can't
we're already,
go.
Yeah. Negative attention is.
You
attention.
do have a thing with sayings. You're really strong.
I reverse
with sayings.
them.
Yeah. Do you remember the time when we were driving somewhere when I was very young and there was an Audi right behind you and you said, this guy is like tailgating me, and from the back seat I said, that's an Audi. Like, ooh, that's a nice car. And you said, he better get Audi my hind end.
Yeah, I do remember that. And that was good. That was another good one. No, I have a lot of good. Yeah, my favorite is, God, for all their each. Or, no, to all their each. To all their each. I think to all their each is valid.
I do say it sometimes. With Haley, I will literally go, but to all their each. And she's like, I don't think that's right. I'm like, oh, I know it's not right.
What's going to be great is to see you pass down all of my wisdom.
To all their each.
To your children. And
you see, folks, that's a saying for when you want to when you want to acknowledge the diversity of the human population. Yeah. Everybody's got their thing.
To all their each.
To all their each. Yeah. Anyways, hey, we're doing this. This is fun.
Yeah.
I do want to preface, I have been on the road the entire day, and I couldn't be, the human body can only endure so much junk food and hours just staring at the
So this is going to be really good.
This is going to be really good. I'm firing on all cylinders, yeah.
Okay.
I did pop an Alpha Brain right before this, so, if they want to sponsor the show, maybe that would be
to all their each.
It's not going to, all their each. It's not going to do a lot, the Alpha Brain, and I think it's placebo, but sometimes I do think it works, even though it's placebo. It could just be a sugar pill, but
I think you sent that to me. Did you not send that to me when it first came out?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, it has like cordyceps and some other different supplements in it that probably do something.
And you feel like it does something. When you take it, you actually feel.
I feel like there's a good chance it's placebo, but even if it is,
it's enough.
It's enough. It does work. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Did you? There's going to be okay. Before we jump into this, there's going to be an entire series of clips cut out of this of me saying, "Did you know?" and then saying the most layman scientific nonsense that you definitely know because you have a master's degree in psychology. Did you know that, see if there's a comic in here I could blow their mind. Did you know that there is the opposite of placebo where it's like you can take something that is actually a miracle drug but your brain is so convinced it won't work that the body can override the effect and not.
Yeah.
I didn't know that for a long. Maybe that's just me because I'm an idiot, but I feel like a lot of people. Is it placebo? I think is the other.
Well, I think, and I don't know, so I'm going to preface with I don't know.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Hey.
I don't know.
1 point for me.
But I do think that it may be one of those later added on pop psychology things where we're just adding a term to something that was already termed with a different name earlier.
So it has a different.
Yeah. So for me, that feels more like the confirmation bias that we were just talking about, actually. Like whatever you believe, that's what you're going to experience or that's what you're going to see. And they've just given it a different name.
So if I take this miracle pill to fix my ailments, but I believe it's not going to work.
Then it might not
It might not. Because the power of the mind or whatever. That's crazy, though. Even the placebo thing. I mean, I always think of, like in Space Jam, like Bugs' magic water or whatever. Do you remember? Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Here's another thing.
No, I didn't.
Not only will you not get any reference, even if you did watch it, you don't remember.
I don't remember.
So it doesn't.
But I didn't watch that one.
There's going to be a lot of did you know and did you remember, followed by yes and no. That's what
I do remember the dance. The Space Jam dance. So that's important.
Yeah, that's a good song.
I didn't watch the movie.
There's a scene. That's crazy that you didn't watch Space Jam. And I did. I mean, that's not even my time. That's the year I was born that came out.
It's crazy that you think that's crazy.
That's crazy. Anyways, Bugs' Magic Water is like at the end when they're all down and out because the alien team is beating the Looney Tunes. He gives them a water bottle of Bugs' Magic Water.
Right.
And it's just water. But they all win.
Because they had the water.
Placebo. Bugs' Magic Water, yeah.
Again, I'm going to go back to why is it crazy that I didn't watch that you just described? Like that was the best movie ever or something?
Space Jam?
Yeah.
It might be. It was
Bugs. Okay. It was Bugs Bunny giving out magic water?
It was Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan.
No, I did like
on
Michael
the same
Jordan.
screen. See?
I did
Thank you. So, it was also during that weird phase where Jordan wasn't playing basketball. So the whole movie is about the fact that he's a golfer now and he doesn't want to go back to playing basketball.
No, I wouldn't like that.
But then after that movie, he did go back to playing basketball. That's The
Last Dance.
The Last
No,
Dance.
I did watch that.
Do you remember any of it?
Most of it. Some of it. But it was a good documentary.
You don't remember any of it. It was very good. That's the thing. Well, I do that too, where it's like you watch a series and then sometime later somebody would be like, how is it? And you're like, I remember that it's good.
It's really good.
And they're like, what did you like about it? And you're like,
no idea.
It's just good. I can remember.
But now documentaries, I watch.
All of them.
I feel like I've watched them.
Crime documentaries?
Have you seen Catfish?
No, but that I guarantee you that's what Mama was asking me about because she called me yesterday and said she was dog sitting for us because Haley and I were both out of town, and so she was checking on Copper. And I called her just to see if she was there, and she was like, I'm sitting here, his head's in my lap, and blah, blah, blah. And I could hear the TV at 10,000 volume
so she was
in the
watching
background.
it? I told her
something
was.
She goes, I said, you can change the TV. Haley should have left the remote. And she was like, well, I was looking for this documentary your mom told me about, and she said it was in the top 10 on that Netflix. And I was flipping through, and I thought if I seen it, I'd know, but it must not be in the top 10. I can't find it.
It is in the
so
top
she
10.
still hasn't watched it.
Oh, dang it.
It's called Catfish?
It's The Unknown Number, and I think Catfish is either the title or...
The Unknown
Number. It was...
What's it about?
Okay, so...
Like catfishing, like the traditional...
I want to give it away.
Thing of the...
So, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
The daughter, there's a daughter, she's in high school, and she's getting all of these like cyberbullying text messages from someone. And it turns into, and her boyfriend
it's her mom.
What? Why did you jump there?
Is it?
Why did you jump there?
Is it her mom? Because I've heard of this. I've heard of this.
Okay.
If it's the one.
This is going to be such a spoiler. I wasn't going to spoil it. Yeah, it is her mom.
Sorry,
it's her mom.
Okay.
But it turns into like this big thing where it's going to her boyfriend and
someone
the school
else
gets
told
involved and the police gets involved. But the messages aren't just like a little bit mean. No, like she goes all the way to the point of like, you should go kill yourself. You're an anorexic bitch. Like it's bad. And so I'm watching it and in my head, because everybody's guessing at the beginning of the documentary, and I'm like, it's definitely a school staff, right? Like I knew it was an adult, but I would have never.
What made you think it was an adult?
Probably childhood
Language.
trauma of my own. I just
you just assume there's an adult up to no good.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's no like indicating language or like information that only her mother would have had. Like how do they eventually?
No, So they end up hiring finally, like it took like 2 years, and they end up hiring a private investigator or somebody from the outside. Again, not going to get the details right because of my memory.
I was going to say, surely the mom didn't be like, we got to get to the bottom of this. We got to find.
Well, she did say that often, and even paired up with like the boyfriend's mom, and was like buddy with like, we've got to figure out who this bully is, but. They eventually tied the IP address to her phone. She had 2 phones, but they tied it to her phone.
Busted.
And so, but that's not even like, you just got to watch it. Then what happens when they bust the mom and the girl, she's going to need therapy for a long time.
Sure.
And mom too.
I think that I think it was a famous comedian that Haley and I watch his pod that he talked about this because he's really into the true crime stuff too. But I think several people have. I didn't know the name of it either, much like Madeline. I probably couldn't have found it in the top 10.
Yeah.
But I did hear something about it. So what's the, like, when you're watching it as a professional, before you actually see the conclusion in the end, and well, maybe, I guess once you realize it is the mom, what's the, like, knee-jerk analysis of, like, why would a mother do that to her daughter?
Yeah, so it is different because Speaking in parts, so you know about parts, right? You in therapy, lots of times we divide out parts of selves.
Okay.
Okay. So you've made it clear that you go to therapy on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a secret.
No,
right?
This is pretty much an endorsement for mental health.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your therapist has probably said a part of you this and a part of you that. Well, that's just common language anyway, right? Like, well, a part of me feels this way, but another part of me feels that way. So when I'm watching No, you don't have multiple parts that feel differently.
I sure do, but I don't think that we maybe phrase it that way in whatever.
Well, that's just, I'm simplifying.
I'm speaking from like my language with my therapist. Also, I've been with the same dude for years, so maybe that's more of a like an entry level, like, you know what I mean? He can just look at me and know. Yeah. Like at this point.
So essentially, when I'm watching the documentary, the point is a part of me is a mom part, right?
Okay, right.
So the mom part is watching it, and I can feel heat rise. Like when it comes out, like the mom's been doing this the whole time. Like the mom part of me wants to come through the screen, get a hold of the mom, and do very negative things.
Because you don't understand. As a mother, how could you?
Right. The mom part gets very protective and very angry. The therapist part goes, now how did that benefit her? How does it benefit mom?
Well, to
bully your daughter to the point of, well, pretty much the extreme that she did. I mean, I've never seen anything more extreme, which is why everybody's talking about it. And from the therapist part, I can say, okay, well, it can make good sense because she gained a lot of empathy. She gained a lot of attention over this from like the school principal, from
attention while
adults.
It's still going on.
Yeah.
Just like
she's talking about like how horrible it is and what she's going through and what her daughter's going through. And then she also has the role of rescuing her daughter, right? So she does it to her daughter, and then her daughter comes home, and her daughter's like, oh my God, I got this today, and I'm so upset. And she's like, come here. So she's the source of safety for her daughter, and So
she's like creating chaos that she then cleans up, which gives her...
Yes.
Is that like sense of purpose, sort of?
Well, it gives her the assurance that her daughter needs her, right? It gives her the assurance that
if you're
she's the
daughter
hero.
to go unalive herself. Yeah.
And so she more than that, but she gets to play all these.
Here's the deal.
Roles.
Here's the thing between you and I. Why do you watch that? Why do you need that in your life?
Why do I watch it?
Yeah, like I don't.
'Cause it's fascinating.
Yeah, but doesn't it kind of infect you a little bit? I mean,
no. What do you mean?
I think it does.
What do you mean by?
I think 10 years of uninterrupted true crime documentaries playing in the kitchen does something to your psyche. And I know this because I also lived with you for a period of time. And so, I mean,
are you scared at night when you get under the covers?
I'm not scared at night, but I remember you saying things like, somebody could cut out the basement window, leave it where it is, and then hours later come back and remove it. And I said, our basement window is 3 inches tall. And you're like, you'd be amazed.
Right.
I've seen it.
I mean, that's valid information for you to know. I feel like the more knowledge.
I don't know that it is. Because realistically, the odds of that are far less than the anxiety that you produce in telling your child, like, somebody's coming to get us.
Okay.
I mean,
well, if you were 5.
Scary.
Okay.
Sure. No, I was 23.
Okay, let's get the facts right.
Right.
This is where we start getting the facts right on the podcast about you.
Now, here we go.
But before I go there, here's the difference, and here's what I think about the documentaries, because I've thought about that. And yes, I have had like dreams of things that I'm like, that probably, I wouldn't have dreamed that had I not watched like Ted Bundy for the last 10 days straight.
Yeah.
But also, there's research out there about why women specifically are drawn to crime documentaries, right? And so women by nature and by nurture, both, are taught to constantly be like looking over your shoulder, constantly make sure that there's not a threat out there. Like we begin scanning very, very early, and if we're not, somebody's going to tell us to. And so you watch these documentaries, and it's like, oh, okay, here's what you need to watch for. This, and this can happen. So it actually makes me feel safer.
It's like a playbook, like watching a killer's playbook lets you...
Yeah, like I can turn that off and feel absolutely fine and safe and fall asleep peacefully. more peacefully than if I watch like something funny. Before I fall asleep.
I think that's just mental illness. Maybe that's
It's
not
not
good.
mental illness.
It's like desensitized almost to like. Well, the example that I have used, and I think I maybe used to try a joke about this on stage, is like Haley's the same way. But hers is the scripted crap, like NCIS and Criminal Minds, which I have just complete disdain for. I just it's so
too.
corny. I know. I watched it my whole childhood with Coda, and now But when I first started dating Haley and first started hanging out, I would get angry because I'd be like, I woke up at 3 a.m. and they're disemboweling this carcass on this table and pulling out this stomach to see where this guy was shot.
Gruesome.
And she's sleeping peaceful. She's snoring. And I'm like, can we put on cartoons or something so I can sleep? But I guess maybe there is a male-female aspect too.
I was going to say, think about it. How many males versus females do you know that watch crime documentaries or like NCIS? And
there's some.
There are
guys.
some.
Yeah.
There's some, but mostly it's pretty. It's pretty skewed.
I just don't care for. But I do like.
Well, count yourself
violence. Lucky. But no, I mean I do like to consume things that have violence or aggression,
but from a different
like history documentaries. Like here's the deal: I can't watch a Ted Bundy documentary. First episode, I'm out.
So
I just don't care. But I will watch a Holocaust documentary to the very end. So it's like, in a way, that's way more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 6 million times more gruesome and more horrific. But I think that is so gruesome and horrific that it doesn't seem real. Does that make sense?
Like you can detach from it.
A little bit.
That happened, but that couldn't happen now, and that's crazy that ever happened.
A little bit, yeah. And there's other examples that are maybe somewhere in between those two. I mean, I don't really know what Bundy's like kill count is, but obviously the Holocaust might be the most extreme one.
Yeah.
But I just watched. Have you seen the Bin Laden one that came out?
Yeah,
a few weeks back?
Yeah.
I watched that. I thought that was really good. That it's like 9/11 and tracking Bin Laden and stuff. And I mean, horrific details. But I also, maybe just because of who I am, I get really invested in the details.
Right.
Not so much the story, but just I just watched Ken Burns has a documentary on country music, and it's 35 hours or something. I could not stop watching it. I mean, it was actually becoming a detriment to this show that instead of editing episodes of the show, I was watching it all the time and watching it on lunch break at work and stuff. I just couldn't stop because it literally starts with like 1925. The Carter family rolls into Bristol, which is also incentive for me to watch it too because it's about where we're from.
Right.
And then like Garth Brooks in the 90s is the end. And it's every person, every step for 35 hours. So if something's real intense like that, I can do it. And I mean, but for some reason with the crime stuff, I don't get hooked by the facts.
Well, so when you're watching the history, which I'm the exact opposite of, but when you're watching that, if you just imagine like what are you experiencing like feeling wise as you're watching that?
I guess it depends on the one because there's so many. But I mean, at one point I was like, Haley kept saying I was turning into an old white dad already because I literally was like watching every World War II thing I could possibly find for 2 months straight. I watched.
Is it something about like knowing? Is it something
I do like
knowing,
storing the information and knowing. And also I feel I've always been really drawn to history, but I think that it gives me such context for the world we currently live in.
Yeah.
To go. And this is not something I feel super strongly about, but an opinion I kind of have is like I think a lot of people don't really have enough of a concept of the history in order to form their opinions about current events or whatever. Because I'm like, you don't even know, you can't even point to Ukraine on a map. Why are you know what I mean? Like, there's certain topics that I like to dive into just for context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't know this is true of you, but I think for a lot of people, it's like, a sense of a part of their identity, their ancestors to go back and to learn this stuff. So that's a big deal too.
That's a big one. Yeah. That's a little harder with like documentaries and stuff. But I mean, that's why like this whole apartment is damn near a shrine to Papal. Like there's aspects of, it's literally coffee and vinyl records downstairs. It's the whole downstairs. So there is a, kind of like a keeping ancestors alive. And even Memo and I have joked for years that like I would sit with Papa and listen to stories about his brothers, his mom, his uncles,
Right.
his like almost like a verbal family tree.
Right.
I love that. There's not much I actually value more on like a human level than that. Memo could not care less. She's like, if it happened before me, I don't want to know about it. Like, because she's under the mindset that it's all negative or it's all embarrassing or it's all, and some of it is.
Well, especially when it comes to his family roots.
Right.
She,
She hates it. She hates it. But I don't, maybe it's the distance between Mike and, like, I've never met most of the people in these stories. It's similar to the Holocaust thing, I guess, where it's like, it's fairy dust. It's not a real, it's a tale as much as it's history, kind of.
but it's also your roots, so that makes it even more.
Right. Where that becomes interesting is when it gets challenged, mostly like on a real, like a national level. Like I remember when I was fresh out of high school and I went to Myrtle with Caden and Corey one time. We bumped into this girl named Deanna, and she was from Russia, and she was there on a work visa. And this is 2019, so it's like peak Orange Man in the White House is causing a ruckus at this time for the first time. And of many, but
we'll talk about
let's go into there was a lot of Russia U.S. tension at the time in North Korea, and so talking to someone who's ethnically legally Russian about it was hilarious, because we were like, and we got to like we sat on this bench on the boardwalk for like 4 hours until the wee hours of the morning, just drilling her with questions about World War II and all this stuff. And it was hilarious because I remember I was like, word in the textbooks here is we kind of swooped in and saved that Russian ass a little bit, down at the end. We really saved it. And she was like, this is nonsense. Like, she learned something totally different. So as much as I dive into the history and as much as I think it's like almost like a badge of honor to know so much about so much, it's all perspective. Like,
how can you know?
Right. Yeah, I wasn't there.
Know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just what some dude wrote in a textbook and got redacted 1,000 times, which is similar to my thoughts on the Bible, but we won't go into that either. Let's,
I mean, we can.
Yeah, we can. We'll get there probably. We'll probably get there too.
We're going to have difference of opinions on that.
It's going to be a long episode, folks. Strap in. It's going to be, but I did want to, because you touched on it for a second, and every person that I've told you were coming, which is just the last few guests when they're here, I'm like, I'm about to do them with my mom. We'll see how this goes. I've said she's probably going to come with a legal pad full of notes from every episode that is, here's what you got wrong each time. Specifically, the Michael Bear episode is the one I thought you'll just come in hot and heavy, ready to set the record straight. So this is you have the floor, Madam Speaker. This is your chance.
No, I didn't do that. But I would like to point out the fact that you thought that I would do that just proves that you don't know me as well as
confirmation
you think you do.
bias. Yeah.
But no, I didn't. I think I'm
half joking. I'm 30% joking.
Michael's episode. Let me go back into that one.
Oh, well, he kept things pretty vague on that. I felt like, to where, as far as like timelines and stuff, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I didn't disagree with a whole lot that Michael said.
Yeah.
Except for, I'll say this. And so let me start
well,
with,
he's going to listen
you,
too.
Michael.
So yeah.
Okay. The one thing that I was like, wait, what did he just say? Was facts are not feelings.
Oh yeah.
Or feelings are not facts.
Your feelings are not facts.
See how I reverse that? Like, okay.
To all their each.
To all their each. While I don't disagree with that, right? Like, feelings are feelings, facts are not feelings. Those are clearly two different definitions of things. It was said as if you can just take facts to drive your behavior, right? And actually, feelings are what drive our behavior.
Right. He did circle on that later in the episode.
Yeah, and so I'll say that at the end of it, when he was talking about the economy, he then flipped it and pretty much said that the feelings would drive it.
Feelings drive everything.
And so
right.
And they do, for the most part. We can have all the facts in the world. I'm not saying they're not helpful, but at the end of the day, how do you feel about the facts?
Right, and I think at the particular moment when he first said that, also you'll notice if you go listen to his episode, which is a fantastic episode.
It was a good episode.
I had a lot of fun, and he was very vulnerable and generous with his life story and stuff. I mean, that's a good one. Go check that one out. But there's a few moments in there where I'm so like in the heat of conversation and the pressure to just agree with this person. He could have said about anything, and I'm like, oh, totally, yeah.
And that's a part of his character,
your
right?
feelings.
This is why.
Who gives a shit about anybody? I'm with you. Like I just agreed with him, but not that I don't agree in some level. But I don't think in the moment I didn't have the ability to just go, wait, what did he say? Is that like it? Yeah.
Michael has a very dominant personality,
Sure.
right? I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anybody that knows him.
Well, you can see it in the video too. I was cowering in fear the entire time.
Well, nothing to
Not
be
really.
scared of.
No, not really. I love him to death.
I've certainly challenged him on multiple occasions, but
Yeah.
He comes out very clear. He's a good speaker, and he's very strongly tied to his beliefs.
Yes.
And not a whole lot's going to shake those, right? And
Right.
he knows that maybe in a few years those will shift, but he'll be the one to shift them. Nobody else is going to shift those.
He
for
did
him.
say that too, and honestly, I credit him for that as well because I know a lot of people, especially comics. Jesus Christ! I mean, I can think of one in particular, but 10 right off the bat. That's like, this is how it is.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
And this worked for me.
So it'll work.
So
for
it'll
you.
work for everybody. And if you don't do that, you're an idiot.
Right.
And
You don't like it? You don't like that?
Oh no, it's a real problem for me actually. But on a lighter level, I'm always cautious anytime anyone is telling me what to do, particularly when I didn't ask you for advice. Now it's different. Like my buddy Justin, my friend Travis, I will call them sometimes and be just this weekend I had 2 choices to make as far as comedy goes, and I didn't quite know what was the correct move. I had 2 different options for how to spend an evening and what would be better for me as a comic. And so I called Travis and he didn't answer because he hates me. But and he did say that later via text. I got the receipts. I called him and he didn't answer. And then I just had to decide on my own. So it's difficult, but in situations like that, I turn to usually one of those 2 or a handful of others because they've been there. They're a little further down the path. But in a situation like being in here with Michael, I don't necessarily, the conversation I'm having with him is pretty impromptu and it's not directly applicable to my, like saying something as vague as your facts are not feelings. It's easy for me to go, yeah, I agree. But in a moment where I have a strong emotion, it feels like a damn fact. You know what I mean? It really feels like a fact.
It is a fact that you're feeling that way. And it is a fact that that's going to drive your behavior, your response to that feeling. That's a fact.
I mean, preaching to the choir here, but I'm literally the most emotional human boy.
Well, you know what you just said. You don't really, it's a trigger of yours to be told what to do. I think I just figured that out in the past couple of months.
Well,
so
25
it took
years
us
later.
25 years to get there.
It didn't take us. I knew.
Well, it took Mom. So here's the mom dilemma. Again, Mom's dilemma is if you speak of a discomfort or a problem or something that's a stressor for you, the mom part says, I got to handle
Fix
that.
it. Yeah.
I got to fix it. I got to help him. I got to give him advice.
Like if you're cyberbullying me and I'm upset, you want to console me.
I will absolutely put my arms around you and say, it will be okay. And we will find out who that is. And so, I think
Catfished on Netflix,
a part of probably every mom's journey, I don't know, I haven't talked to every mom, but is how to separate and go, okay, that the mom part is not really what's being called upon when, every time your child calls with the problem.
It's also, I'm 25 years old now. So
right. You can say that, but not in my brain.
I'm not 25 years old in your brain?
Not really.
Okay. Well,
not really. I mean, you
let's
are
maybe
25.
start there.
You are 25, but you're also 15, and you're also 10, and you're also 8 and 5.
But at each of those markers, my reaction to, and also maybe we need to nail down some vocabulary here because I don't think I've ever been adverse to guidance. I think, in fact, I seek guidance. It's unrequested demands or like, and this is not,
it's unrequested guidance too.
But when I'm thinking of it, I'm not even actually thinking about you when I'm saying this. I'm thinking of a different specific person. That there is nothing that, and it doesn't make me aggro. It just puts me on the defense when somebody's just throwing shit at me, telling me what to do, particularly when I feel they don't really know and they're just doing it to do. It's like a power dynamic. Yeah. It's more, honestly, I think it has less to do with the advice or the guidance than it does just the power that in that moment of I'm more than you, I know what you don't. That's what actually bothers me.
I get that.
Which is probably delivery.
It could be, but so I'm going to balance it, right? And this is not just about you. This is just therapy in general. Like there could be delivery, there could be approach issues for sure.
There are.
There could also be a filter on you,
Yeah.
right, with the power dynamic. That,
Oh, sure.
That anytime that you feel like somebody's even maybe suggesting or giving advice, it goes through that filter, and by the time it reaches you, it's like, oh, they're trying to have power over me and tell me what to do.
It's just an inferiority complex. Yeah, that's a lot. Well,
I don't think it's...
depending on the person, depending on the relationship, it varies. And the one that I like, the most prominent one I'm thinking of, it is partially that, but it's also just everything about this person. Like this is who this person is. It's not just me. Does that make sense? That's another part of it too, is when you see other people have the same reaction, or maybe you connect with other people who have the same kind of weird like love hate with this human being. That's when you go, okay, then it's not all just my filter or my insecurities, because that's part of it too, is this chip on my shoulder.
It's never that black and white.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
And I don't know who we're talking about here, but yeah,
it's Haley.
Okay.
No, it's
well,
not.
Haley
No, it's not.
Probably was in a very powerless position early on, so she feels the need to elevate herself with power.
That's true, and she tries, and it doesn't work. But
I know Haley. I've been trying for his whole life, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But call me. I'll tell you what does. It's fine.
That's true. Well, honestly, I hope she does, because she can figure that out.
I have not figured it out. Clearly, I have not figured it out.
No, the funny part is
an ongoing mystery to me.
Well, she's asked to come on several times too. I think you and I have talked about this, but mostly she says it when I have a guest drop or need a fill in or something. I think it's maybe predominantly just she wants to be supportive of the production of the show. I don't know that she actually has any interest in being on camera or on mic like that. She didn't really sign up for that,
Yeah.
But when she talks about, she does have valid like her trip to Africa and stuff to talk about.
Cool trip.
But it's a very cool trip. But I kind of mess with her all the time on the show, and then she'll be like, "If you're not gonna let me on there, you can't keep keep making jabs." But I know that she's lying when she says that, because she does not watch. She'll never. She might watch this one. Right. She's watched certain ones. She watched Allie. She loves Allie. So yeah. She'll watch certain ones.
Well, I hope she does. And just in case she does, I love Haley.
Good.
I think Haley is a good partner for you in a lot of ways. And I'm not just blowing smoke here. Like I think Mom's opinion is you have stretched and grown for being in a relationship with Haley, right? You got to see different dynamics as far as family goes. You've got to see and different attachment styles between you and Haley.
Yeah.
Working with those dynamics.
Yeah. Also, I think she's going to, if she does listen to this, she's going to hate me. We're coming up on 3 years. It'll be 3 years around like January, February. So that's also my longest committed relationship at this point too. So I think, well, thanks. But at the point that we're at, it's kind of like uncharted territory for me a little bit too, as far as it's even maybe exponentially more uncharted territory just because of our age and responsibility and individuality. You know what I mean? Like prior, the runner up would be a year and a half from 17 to 19.
Yeah, she don't count.
Well, no, she does count. It's a huge, believe me, it's a huge part of who I am and why I'm as screwed up as I am. But it's not the same. It's not the same as being an adult and managing all these responsibilities and blah, 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 and trying to
much more difficult.
Right.
Yes.
Basically on track to building a life together, which terrifies the shit out of me to say, but that's kind of.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. Well, actually, no, I do know why.
I don't know
she's
why.
across from me right now on the microphone. So
that's weird.
Yeah, that is strange that I would suffer from commitment issues and over analytic behavior and. Anyways, the point I was trying to get to with her is that there is a part of me too that's a little bit apprehensive to have her on, and I think it's similar to the same, maybe not apprehensive, but anxiety of having you on, which is that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, but we're this. I
don't know why you asked, actually.
To have you on?
Yeah.
Really? You don't know why?
No, I couldn't piece together why in the world you would want me to come on here and tell everybody.
Well, you're very interesting.
How full of shit you've been every time you talk about.
Maybe I just needed a fact check.
Okay.
Maybe I'm hip to suffering. Maybe. I don't think that was the goal at all. I'm 20. I'm 5% joking when I say you're going to do that, but I just think that you have an interesting. Like if I take myself outside of I'm your son.
Right.
If I were just hosting a podcast,
yes,
I would have you on.
Okay.
That's
you want to go there? You want to talk about that stuff?
What stuff?
Whatever you're interested in, if from a non-son lens.
Well, that's tough because we only have so much time.
Okay.
But also, the interesting part about this interview, I think, is that over the course of definitely, like, I know a handful of people probably followed from Talking Bits over to this show, hopefully. Maybe at least one I know for sure. Love you, Joe. But the interesting thing is that through my hundreds at this point of hours on a microphone of recorded audio that is still out there somewhere, you could kind of piece together this idea of what my relationship with my mother is or was. But I don't know
from your view.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you were to go and listen to every time I talked about you or some influence of you, you would have some idea of what it was. And I think that leaves out a lot about you as an individual because you're like, even this whole episode, I mean, probably the title of this episode would be My Mom or what, like sitting down with Mom. But I don't.
Mostly mom
that
jokes.
Feels mostly mom jokes. If I have, that's like if I had Allie in here and I just said, so you're a yoga studio owner, and we just talk about that for the whole hour. When in fact we got into her time living out of a van and you know where she moved after college and her relationship with her husband and all these different aspects that make a human. So I think that's part of the incentive of having you on too, is now you're not just this abstract thing of like my mom.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
That I can just target when you're not in the room.
I am not just...
You're not just a punching bag and an excuse.
The 17-year-old that didn't know what she was doing and was never available to you.
Well, you are still that.
While you starved.
You are still that.
And wasn't fed.
See, this is... Now we're getting down to it.
I'm just saying, I'm here to be a human and not that.
Well,
right?
You're both.
Okay.
But we are getting down to it because I know that particularly you come away from all those hours of me talking about our relationship with that.
I think we should take an audience poll and see what they come away with.
That's fine because nobody's going to participate, so we can do that. So that's fine.
Up until maybe the last year, that's how I felt.
Of this show or Talking Bits?
No. You're podcasting altogether.
Okay.
So probably.
Well, Talking Bits also, we should say, was a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
Where we set out for... So, like, there's a whole episode, my favorite episode we ever did. It's called Moon Pie and Rusty. And it's about Michael's crazy friend from high school named Moon Pie and our crazy neighbor, Rusty.
Yeah.
And basically, that's an hour and a half of me divulging the most humiliating white trash nonsense that was a part of my upbringing. But... it's also a comedy show. So then there also is an element of that. And just like I know on stage, I mean, I just did the longest set I've ever done. And so when I sat down to plan this out, I got an envelope at work and I wrote down every joke I have that semi-works that I might need to hit that 45-minute mark. And then I took a highlighter and bracketed around chunks. You're one of the biggest chunks. So there's a mom chunk. And then the Haley chunk is bigger. I will say she is officially more of an issue for me than you are. That's where we're at. Right. But then there's a work chunk and there's all this stuff. But if you look at that chunk and you've been in the crowd a dozen or more times when I'm telling these jokes, someone in the crowd inevitably will come to me or you after the show and go, "Do you really? I mean, he talks about you like that." Blah, 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 blah. It's a comedy thing. Right. Like, it's kind of for the thing. But I also know that there is at least a percentage of it that probably does affect you on a psychological level. But are you able to just kind of go, that's jokes? Or it's inflated for the thing?
No.
Right. It's different when I'm in here talking about it. That's different.
Right. If you're on stage or any I wouldn't care what. I don't think it would affect me at all, no matter how extreme you went with it on stage.
We'll see, because I got a few new bits
cooking. That's fine. When it comes to...
I might have some after this.
Stand-up is fine. And it doesn't bother... It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't bother me that my perception is that some of the memories are inaccurate.
Warped. Sure.
Especially the time that we spent together feels way off to my memory. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is thinking that, again, the feelings that you carry from that period of time where you felt that way have negatively affected you in some way. That's what bothers me. It's not like a character I joke, but actually I I think I'm to the point in life to where I can tell myself I was good. I wasn't great, but I was good at what was most important, which was a secure
Punishment.
base.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Whooping that
See,
ass.
I
when
literally
you went out
can't turn
alive.
it off. I can't stop.
That's,
I can't.
yes.
Yeah.
No, I was good at the secure base. So I have
Agreed.
memories of,
Agreed.
you know, this is a long thing, so I won't go on a spiel, but
We'll go on the spiel. We got plenty of time.
I'm absolutely invested most in attachment science in my therapy practice and just in general. Like,
Okay.
And so I didn't know this when you were born, but obviously because of my history and my childhood, I had a very disorganized attachment style. Mm-hmm. And I can explain that or not. It doesn't matter.
We'll go there.
But in essence, until you were born, I did not know what like a secure bond felt like. Period.
Right.
Didn't have it. So I had people in my life like my grandmother and my mom. You know, love you, Mom, but Mom had her own
she
stuff
can't
going on.
navigate to YouTube to find the video,
Okay,
so you're
so
safe.
we're good.
You can say whatever you want.
But yeah, it was the first time I had experienced like what it actually felt like to have that unconditional sort of bonding attachment formed, and that was with you.
And that was just natural out of the box because nature. That's not something that you struggled to trust.
Absolutely not.
Right.
No.
I can't relate because I'm obviously in infancy
Right.
at the time, but I assume when I have kids of my own, I'll know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Right.
That was life-changing for me in a lot of ways. But, you know, when we talk about from that point on, like I remember your smell to this day. Mm-hmm. I remember, you know, smelling your head.
The newborn.
The feel of your hair. And that wasn't just newborn. That was newborn. 1, 2, 3. Like
22, 23, 20.
We won't tell the audience how long that you didn't have a bedroom because you felt safe sleeping next to Mom, and you were safe.
We have varying opinions on this as well, but it
was past the age of most.
I agree.
Western kids.
I don't think we agree. I don't think we disagree about the age. I think we disagree about the motivation. I am of the opinion that it was very financial and space related.
Nope. Okay, so let me take you back.
Okay, and don't lie about the age because this is going to sound bad.
I'm not even going to say the age, but let me take you back.
It's 17.
When you were born, there was a nursery, if you will remember.
I do remember.
I painted Looney Tunes.
I'm not talking about there.
Okay.
I'm talking post-move.
I'm just saying right there was a nursery.
Right.
Right. And then when we went to the glamorous trailer that we went to from there.
Now let's talk about it.
You had your own room, and there was a bed in that room.
Not for a long time, though. There was not.
You didn't want.
See, this is the disagreement,
bedroom.
folks. This is the split.
I promise you didn't and why would you? We're in a new place. It's different.
See, I feel the exact opposite in that why would a 17-year-old boy have any motivation to continue sleeping with his mom?
Don't make me sound like a predator. It was not 17.
All right. Why would a 15-year-old boy have any motivation to keep? You see what I'm saying? Like at a certain age, I just naturally would have wanted to be away from you. I think that age
and that did come, and it came strong, and it come quick.
Right.
But it wasn't at 5, 6, 7. It was not at those ages.
16, 17.
Okay. You were as my opinion, you were as bonded to me as I was. There's a reason your nickname was Monkey. Audience.
I know that. Yeah.
Right?
They know that too. They know Banana Head. I've told that story.
Right. Yeah. You clung to me. I was your safety and you were mine. Now, I'm not saying that didn't have its own devastating effects on you.
Oh, sure.
Because it was almost too protective and too bonded and too...
Well, it just made me kind of a clingy attachment style a little bit. I'm very needy.
Are you?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you really?
Well, I do hard shifts. It's probably very confusing. And maybe you and Haley need to do an episode of Mind Over Mike, and I need to sit this one out. But I assume if I had to, and we never really know, you know what I mean? Like trying to tell you how my partner feels about me. I don't really know.
Right.
But based on my interactions with her, I would say that she would probably agree that I have these hard switches between incredibly needy, let me lay my head in your lap, play with my hair, to I'm an adult, I'm a man, leave me alone. I'm on my own. And that's, which is kind of what you're citing as well, except for you seem to think there's one ultimate hard shift. Whereas I think Haley would tell you that's kind of just how it changes with the wind. Honestly, it's not one and done.
Well, no, I feel like the day that you decided you didn't need me anymore, you never came back. That's how.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You think it's a very hard switch.
But also taking into account, yes, I was a young mother. So
of course.
I didn't, I knew how to handle you when we were bonded and when things were just predictable. But when you hit those teenage years, on top of we were integrating with another family, and so there was a step family involved. That was I had no idea how to handle, and I did not handle probably 99% of that wrong. Right?
I don't know that that's.
I mean, I really didn't.
Well, see, that's what's hilarious is there almost every topic from if we just go backwards. Yeah. Either you feel a certain way about it, and I'm coming to your defense, or you feel a certain way about it, and I think you're incorrect.
Right,
like never are we actually, which is if you ask all 5 people in that home,
that's right.
We'd have a different thing. But I mean, and I don't know. I mean, they don't. Here's the other thing with certain topics on the show. Like I just did the solo episode, which skip it. But I needed to put it out, whatever. And to be honest with you, I've had one thing that episode did give me, and this is kind of a sidebar. Sitting in my spare bedroom alone at 11 p.m. at night talking into a camera felt very awkward. Especially
is that why
first.
you wore sunglasses?
That is why I
couldn't
sunglasses.
figure. I thought it's because he doesn't want to see his own eyes.
Well, it kind of helped because I was just trailing around the whole time. But it's also kind of a tradition in the pod thing. Like solo episodes are a little goofy.
So you didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a look at other comics. But anyways, the thing with that episode is that for some reason being alone allowed me to get more vulnerable because there's no, you know what I mean? There's no like there's no bounce back. There's no apprehension or like nobody's going, oh, I can just, unfiltered. But I actually had to call a few folks before that came out. And the only other time I've done that is with Michael. I called you, I think, and kind of just cleared some stuff. So this is the point in this episode where it's like, there's several people involved in this period of our lives that didn't sign up to have their interpersonal stuff aired out on this show. But it's also my life and yours too. So I kind of teeter between, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to just blast out dirty laundry on the show. That's not the goal.
Yeah. So I heard you say something. You've said this, and I think you've said it when you've referenced stories about your dad, to where you always say there's a part of me that wants to still protect, or there's a part of me that feels guilty. So I don't have that. Right? Really? No, I don't have that.
Why? What's the separation there, you think?
Well, because facts are facts and feelings are feelings.
See, we got her. No. Ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
I just thought Michael would appreciate that.
Well, to all their each.
So, I think for me...
That's the name of the episode, to all their each. I already know.
I have a clear understanding and try to preface with when I can, right? Whatever is laid down in my memory, whatever story I tell, again, that's through so much of my own personal lenses. Right. I'm not claiming it to be 100% facts. Yeah. I'm just absolutely not. Yeah. But when it comes to things like trauma or things that impacted, just like you, it doesn't matter what actually happened. If you actually feel like that I was not available or I was unreachable and that you were raised by your grandparents, it doesn't matter what happened.
That's really more just for the stage, I think.
I'm just saying, if you did, like if that was really how you felt and you felt
my truth is my like narrative history of my life is... It is narrative. There's some emphasis and some romanticizing and some downplaying. Like there's all these different filters it's running through. Right. But that does create that gap that you're referencing, and that like it feels like you and I grew up in two different realities.
We did.
But that's what I'm saying.
Point. Yeah. Right. We did.
But so then where's the confusion or I don't know the word. Honestly, I almost said resentment, but I don't think that's true. But like one thing that I know that you've said to me forever is, one day, and you just said it a minute ago, one day you just stopped loving me. I don't know. You just quit. You just quit loving me, son.
I don't actually mean that.
Well, you should fucking say it all the time.
There's a funny part of me too. There's a comedian in my head too.
And I know that too.
Right. I mean, all that credit keeps going to your father.
But there is an ounce of truth in
I'm
there.
also funny sometimes. I'll put that out there.
I don't send much credit to him.
I've got some credit for him. Okay.
Okay.
So
We can do that too.
where do you want to go? Where would you like to go?
Wherever you want to go.
Where'd you like to go?
Hey, you're the guest.
Okay. I don't want to talk about your father. I don't remember a lot about your father. I remember. I do. Again,
there's a clip for the old TikTok right there.
I remember.
Yeah. We met one night. Yeah. That's not true.
We were high school sweethearts.
That's true. We can talk about it. I don't care.
My perception, right? Don't know if he feels that way.
Right.
We were together for years throughout high school.
Right.
Yes. And so, yeah. And then
just like every
bad things happened.
Ounce of this episode, it's so perspective based in that. And to be honest with you, the other people we're mentioning before, like, you know, the sisters or Brad or even Haley, like, I don't feel quite as bad given my perspective because they can defend. I interact with them regularly, so they could defend themselves. Whereas with him, it's kind of like I'm shouting insults into the void.
Oh,
and that feels, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to have him in here to give his opinion or whatever. Right. Although there's the views if I really wanted to pop off.
Yeah, you could get us both in here.
Oh, God, yeah.
I haven't seen him in
boxing gloves.
A lot of years. Yeah, no, I don't think...
it's all perspective is what I'm saying.
I think it's all perspective. And so I don't really feel like I have to protect anyone from my perspective or my experience of them. Right. I just don't. And I don't... Like for you, right? Like if you have an experience of anybody, me included, I don't feel like you should hold back on that. I feel like the way we process is to be able to talk about that with one another, to be able to.
If it's damaging though, like if it, like on the solo episode, I told the story of, you know, Peppa getting sick and then the lead into the van and all that. So, or you may have even watched it, but to talk about my relationship with him and not mention his relationship with others and the negative or the, you know what I mean? Like the very difference between like in order to provide some context to that bond with that person, I think it's important that I at least acknowledge the damage he did in other relationships or the aspects of him that weren't always perfect. But it's also maybe like almost a disrespectful type of feeling that I take away from it, and that like I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, and that's a different one because he's passed away, so that kind of speaking ill of the dead or whatever is a little different. But even with someone still living, I am sometimes apprehensive to be honest, even though it's 100% factual, because it is at the end of the day just my perspective too.
Not only is it just your perspective, but there's so like when I think about Papa or Dad, as I call him, again, back to the parts. So there's a child part of me that had experience with him that feels one way about him, right? There's a teenage part, there's a young adult part, there's a grown part, there's a part after he's passed. So it depends. Like, again, I don't feel bad because I can say, well, from the child part, here's the trauma that was heavily inflicted on me. And then the adult part can say, you know what, but I made sense of that and how he became what he became, and it's fascinating that he was even able to give my son what he gave him.
I agree.
According to his background, statistically, that shouldn't have even been possible. So I can speak from both sides, but I don't feel like, I feel like if I'm just leaning into the positive or the sugar-coated, or I'm intentionally avoiding something, then again, it's like suppressing one of my parts and telling them to exile or back down. And it's really hard, I think, to well, it's not hard to show up that way. Actually, people do that all the time, but I don't think that it is as collective and honest or raw as being able to speak from all of your parts.
Right. And some of that like honesty or rawness of it is also, I think, like with the solo episode, that was very awkward and difficult, but the product is very honest and raw. And of this is episode 10 of the 10 that have come out. I mean, we'll see how this goes. Of the 9 that have come out, that's the one that I have seen the most people respond to. In fact, I don't think she would mind me saying this. I have a coworker who First of all, one time on this show, I said, yeah, I'm kind of friends with this person. And now every day at work, it's, what's up, buddy? Since we're best friends. So there you go, Rachel. There's your confirmation. We're friends. She loves it. But so the other day, the solo episode came out, and she is a very sweet friend of mine, and we are friends. And so she watches the show and supports the show sometimes. And she was at the Mark Norman show. She's very supportive.
Right.
But so I walk over to ask her something at work, and I walk into her cubicle, and I'm like, hey, do you have the, whatever? And she goes, hold on. And she like paused her phone and took her AirPod out, and she goes, you're about to make me cry.
Oh, she was listening.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I wasn't. And then I realized with the AirPod, and I was like, oh yeah, sorry, it's a little sad. And she was like, it's really sad. And I go, yeah, my life's kind of sad sometimes. Like there are parts of my story that are kind of sad.
Yeah.
But the moment when I'm sitting here doing that, the awkwardness to share that is very quickly, at least for me, outweighed by that one person who connected with it. And again, it's another person who didn't sign up to have their things aired out. But I'll just say that she does have a connection in her life that's somewhat akin to my connection with him. So I know that me talking about that loss means something to that person.
Yeah.
And I also had another comic friend who was very nice and kind of responded and shot me a message and just said that even he's a podcaster as well, and that even the aspect of doing a solo pod with video scares him, and he refuses to do it. So he's kind of like commending me on the bravery. Feels a little much to say I turned on a camera in my bedroom.
Extremely brave to be vulnerable. It doesn't matter.
Well, but see, that's the weird thing is that feels natural to me.
To be vulnerable?
I think so.
Okay.
But not with other humans when I'm alone. That's what I'm saying. Okay. You see what I'm saying? This is the dilemma. Well, not always. Like when Michael was in here, I feel like he and I attempted to kind of divulge some dad stuff or what, like masculinity issues that I have in order to match his story with his dad and those interactions. So I don't have any problem being vulnerable. It's just, I don't know.
So there's a difference, right? And I don't know. And maybe vulnerable is what you're feeling, but there's a difference in just putting the facts out there. So like I can go through a history, like a trauma history of my background and make it very factual and be very disconnected from it and tell it like a story, right? Like I'm just reading a book.
Would that read more negative, you think, than if you were to zhuzh it up?
What do you mean?
Like if you just lay out the facts versus your narrative recount of your life, which one would be more difficult for the reader?
So I think just laying it out as facts and being disconnected from it is, well, for me as a therapist, it's like a cue, right? If there's a client in front of me that's telling me about a severe trauma and they're talking to me as if they're telling me what kind of ice cream that they bought today, right? There's a disconnect there.
That's your boy, right?
Okay.
That's
so that's not vulnerability.
No.
In that space.
I understand the difference. Sure.
Yes. And so, well, yeah, that's just what I was pointing out. So you say I think I'm vulnerable by default. Like I think maybe to other people, but I think for me, a lot of times you give me that story, that narrative kind of version that feels disconnected, not necessarily vulnerable.
Easier when you can, and there is a pretty high percentage of
which
truth
that says a lot about me too, not just you, by the way.
That's how I engage with you.
We're only vulnerable with people that we feel safe enough to be vulnerable with.
Oh, I think you and I are very vulnerable. I mean, you and I are on the phone for hours at a time sometimes until the wee hours of the morning. Like, to say that we're not vulnerable is a little. I mean, we're sitting in a room right now.
I think we're agreeing with how much you are like me, and so
I'm very
on those
aware of that.
phone calls a lot of times.
Sure.
But again, like vulnerability, no, I don't think that we. Again, my perception. Now, you also have to take into account that I sit in sessions with clients every day where, like, I guess vulnerability is pouring down.
Maybe I'm just a tough nut to crack. Maybe the old therapist stumper. That's me. Well, let's talk about that too, because I think most people who are familiar with me, so I assume anybody who's taken the time to watch an hour into the show.
God, are we an hour in?
It goes by fast, doesn't it?
I'm just getting started. All that was horseshit.
We can go. I mean, hey, we can go until those cameras run out, which I don't really know when that's going to be. But
15 minutes. Go.
No, we got time. I do sometimes encounter questions about what it's like growing up being raised by a therapist. And my
Mm-hmm.
answer to that normally is that you were a therapist in training for most
Yeah.
of my, like
Yeah.
an actual licensed professional with your own office. That's
Right.
really since I've been an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of different. But I mean, I do think that from my perspective, I don't necessarily remember clocking that as a kid and going, oh, she's therapying me right now.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Well,
No.
but as a kid, I'm not even sure if you know what I mean? The
If
kids,
you even
you
would.
can fool kids easily. So I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't
you're
know.
right. I didn't actually get into the master's program until 2011. Right. So
Also, I want to write that down. That's a minute or an hour and 8 seconds. She said, I'm right about something. I just want to
you are
circle.
right. I didn't
right. And I'm
have
going to clip that as well.
any therapeutic interventions to apply to your childhood. They weren't there. I didn't know.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people, when I say, yeah, my mom's a therapist, they assume that before I
Yes.
was born, you already have your own office and you're, whatever, chewing on a pencil.
No, actually, here's how it went from the time you were born.
Okay. Hey, let's do it. Speed
Burger
round.
King,
Yeah.
right?
Right?
Wendy's.
Yeah.
I think back to Burger King.
Which is a step up.
I'm pretty
That's in the
sure.
right direction. Wendy's
Yes.
was a bad move.
Well, my boyfriend was at Burger King, so it was hard to.
That's a lateral move, they call it. Yeah.
Yeah, back to Burger King, Walmart,
Up. We're going up.
credit union.
Big up.
That was a big
In fact,
jump
I
right
would say
there.
they're a great employer.
that was a big jump. That was my first
Because
professional
if there's
job.
ever an episode they're going to watch, it's this one.
And I will give them, if anybody watches, a lot of credit. I mean,
sure.
I grew
Yeah.
in multiple ways and matured in multiple ways
Well, I
because
tell
of that
them
credit union.
now. I mean,
Yes.
for
I'm
the
also
listener,
very embarrassed by probably who I was back then. I don't.
Yeah, you should
know.
be. You
I've
made some real messes that
kind of
I've had
grown a
to.
lot since.
You made some messes that I've had to endure. But no, I do want to say too that often at my job, especially starting out, I would say some variation of like, yeah, this place kind of raised me a little bit. Like the money that job provided
Yes.
allowed a somewhat
You to starve
comfortable.
to death.
No.
Every day in
allowed us a
childhood.
somewhat comfortable living, and the comforts that we did have came from
Yeah,
that
it
job.
was all about priorities, right? We always had nice cars, right? So
Now we're getting down
Infinities,
to it, folks.
right? We had Infinity.
Here's what we
had
had.
a Tiburon.
Now here's what we had, and
We had a
because
hot tub.
you're here,
We
you
had a
can't
hot
hold
tub.
on. Because you're here, you cannot later accuse me of making this up, and I just want you can throw a red flag on the field if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Let me paint the picture for you here, folks. So I'm thinking about, let's say 10-year-old Nathaniel.
Right.
10-year-old Nathaniel gets off the bus from Bluntville, Tennessee Middle School
Yes.
in the small town of Bluntville, Tennessee. Gets off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I step onto a long, unmanaged gravel driveway
Yeah.
that would destroy someone's car if they try to come anywhere near the home.
Yeah.
I walk past a...
Well, you just had to know how to drive around the holes.
Oh,
I
there's-
mean, I was a pro.
Oh, yeah. It was a road map,
Yeah.
for sure. So I walk up the gravel past a decrepit red barn from the 50s that at one point a distant uncle lived in. I don't know if you know that story, but we can go there too. Uncle Luther used to live in that barn, and there's a wood stove, and I can tell you the whole thing. Walk past that, up past a trailer where grandma, grandpa, and uncle
Right.
lived,
Don't forget,
who was in his 30s at the time.
barefooted in the snow.
Uphill both ways.
Okay, now
No,
you got it.
see
All
what
right,
she's doing.
keep
See,
going.
we caught her. You're already trying to slander. Up
don't know
until
what you're talking
up until the snow, that's 100% factual, is it not?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Again, write that down. That's 1 minute, 1 hour and 11 minutes. So I walk past one trailer, then I walk past our trailer,
Yeah.
which is a older model trailer where you and I live. In the gravel driveway next to the trailer was at different times a Hyundai Tiburon, which later got smashed to pieces.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that too. A Honda Accord with
It was nice.
basically spinner rims on
was
it.
nice.
Okay, and I don't think with among the more ghetto options of giant silver
Oh, it
rims.
was a nice car.
With a license plate that said BBYC4KS, baby cakes.
That's not on me.
I didn't say it was.
I didn't purchase
Again,
that for
we're
myself.
speaking facts here, folks.
Okay, but I didn't.
So the baby cakes mobile is in the gravel next to here. Then there is a tree house, which is very nice. Shout out to an ex-boyfriend for that, because that
Yeah.
was a wonderful gift.
Love him. glad his life is going
Yes,
well.
it is. Yeah. He's not in ours, but it turned out better for him.
Yeah, it did.
Probably good that he got away from us, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
But with our trailer, we had a friend who was involved in a concrete business.
Right.
And as a semi-gift / tribute / practice at this art form, built us some... The base, I believe, was styrofoam overlaid with concrete to form rocks.
With a waterfall.
With a waterfall and a sump pump that fed water up.
It's beautiful.
And it never worked. It never worked.
It did for like a week.
It worked for like a week. And so for the other 8 years that we lived there, it sat just disgusting with leaves.
No,
and
I planted.
Dropping the...
See, I planted.
Nope. See, this is the difference, folks.
Banana trees in it. And
In
then
the
made it like
other-
a forest.
Yeah, in the other
great.
rocks. So that's what I'm saying. So then there's banana trees. Inside is a hot tub that I believe
right.
was a gift. I'm not
from
certain.
the same guy that did the
So-
rocks.
And it operated like a gifted hot tub.
It was great.
It was a warm bath. No jets.
It did. You were such a
See,
liar.
now I can't help it.
That's not
I can't
true.
help- okay.
It was a good hot tub.
Cut
and
that
it
out.
worked well.
It was a good hot tub.
Okay.
Cut that out. Up until then, we're strictly factual here. Inside the home was a pleather black sectional that was so large that it interrupted part of the hallway in this single wide trailer. You basically have to climb over the back of the couch to get into the living room. So there's that. Flat screen TVs in every room. That a computer desk with a laptop that was there at one point. At one point, a mannequin in the living room to house some of your clothing items. That's where we're at.
And
So-
all of your video consoles and games
Sure.
and DVDs.
That's a
and,
PlayStation 3 we're talking about.
all
big
of it.
stuff.
Like
So-
at the time it was.
Right. Well, at the time, yeah, no. That was cutting edge at the time. But yes, to your what started this whole thing is yes, we did always have the nicest crap.
You did.
But the actual, then there's like a hole in the floor and there's like, do you remember the wasp infestation? We had a summer where we were plagued with wasps.
Yeah, I mean, I can't control nature, right?
I feel as though you
cannot
can.
control.
I feel pretty strongly that you could have.
I couldn't have stopped wasp.
I think one less Hyundai Tiburon and we could have had a home without a wasp infestation.
So we couldn't. I was working my way there, but we couldn't.
Well, you got there after I
was
moved
priorities.
out, which is good.
So then we'll go back to, this goes back to my history, right?
Okay.
Did I have any knowledge whatsoever
Of spending?
financial management in any way?
No.
Zero zip.
Do you now? Maybe still no.
I'm getting there. Right, I'm getting there.
I have not lived there in a number of months, unfortunately, but a number of weeks. No, I've not lived there in a while. But
I had a very YOLO mindset. I was also
sure
20 years old,
Right.
21 years old. So yes, it was like, okay, I can either save up and like get us our own little apartment for whatever, or I can spend $1,000 on Nathaniel's birthday.
Yeah.
That felt better to me. And you loved it.
It felt better
And you loved
in the
hot
short
tub.
game.
It did.
In the short game.
I know
Right.
all that now.
Right. Oh no, I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying it's important for me to lay out the facts because then
But
it
see,
comes
you're
to
doing it-
he's making it
You're
up.
doing it through your adult lens in hindsight when you talk about it, but as a child, you loved it.
Oh, I loved every aspect of it.
You absolutely loved
Because
it.
the cool part about having styrofoam concrete
You
rocks
didn't
with
know.
banana is that you can I basically went to Vietnam every day. I basically was a foot soldier in Vietnam, and I saved a lot of lives. I mean, I was in.
did.
I saw a lot of combat in
You
those
did.
days, and I don't know if you remember, but I enlisted my only neighbor because we lived way out
Yeah.
in the middle of the woods. I enlisted my only neighbor, and we went on a lot of recon missions. I mean, we really scouted some territory. Like,
And while I loved your imagination, I will say this, and I worried about this even then, even before I was into mental health at all. There was a part of me that always questioned why you were like always in charge of the missions. Like that poor kid.
I was not only in charge, I was always in some make believe
Yeah.
universe. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Because
I mean, you were.
it's much easier to be in the field of Vietnam than to be living the life I was. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I think that you had power and control over this kid, and I really
No.
worried.
Not always. I mean, I definitely was I think bossy.
You were so bossy.
Sure, well,
I was trying
know.
to be kind. You were so
No, I know,
bossy.
but I don't think that I like got off on the power dynamic or anything.
I don't know
like that.
why.
I think, well,
I just was worried about it. I was like, God dang.
I would have to think on
he's
a
never
more.
Gonna have friends.
That's not true. He's still my friend. I talked to him. No, that's not true. But when I think back on it now, my, I guess, quick analysis or my assumption based on every other problem I have as an adult would be that I often felt powerless. So in a dynamic where I could grasp that, I probably overdid it a little bit to compensate for feeling so that would be, again, I'd have to really dive into it to know, but that's what I would assume.
Well, I would assume you would feel powerless when you got beat on every day by your mother. I feel like that would.
There was a few occasions. There were a few occasions. I've never claimed that.
Hey,
I've never claimed that.
I do want to clear this up.
Okay.
This is the one thing that I want to clear up, and it actually has nothing to do with something you said about me.
Hilarious.
You told a story, and because you feel guilty or whatever, you don't want to put anybody on blast, which I guess fine. But it muddies the stories, right? So you're telling a story about your childhood, and you're like, I pretty much learned from the guy in my life that sometimes if you love people, you just have to hit them.
Yeah.
Okay, audience, that wasn't me.
You just said the guy.
Because that's what you said. You haven't said
so
it
that
out
rules
loud.
you out. It's not you.
I was with your dad at some point.
Oh, that you weren't being hit by. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay, sure. We can.
I was not the victim.
Sure. Okay.
Of physical violence from your father.
Footnote.
I was never hit by a man except for my father, which then later became I will never be hit by a man without severe injury on the other
Murdering
side.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, but the way you told the story, I was like, first off, who the hell taught my son that? And then second off, like, that wasn't me.
Yeah. Well, one of the things about really just any story I'm trying to share on this show too is that I think the timeline of his involvement in my life is kind of, you know what I mean? Like
it's blurry for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of blurry. It was kind of blurry. It was kind of gray area for a number of years. Yeah. But I think for the listener, sometimes there probably is that disconnect where they don't quite know. I mean,
I would have assumed that was your mama getting beat on.
Now, at some point, I'm sure if you go back in all the episodes of this show or Talking Bits, I probably have said that basically since I've been alive, you two have not been together. So, I mean, at some point the context is there, but as far as that specific moment in that one episode, we could. Yeah.
Now, why I need to say that out of everything that's said?
That is hilarious.
Like, right, that's to be.
You're like, I neglected you, but nobody was hitting me. Damn it!
Nobody was beating my ass.
Sure, I did the beating. If somebody's gonna be beaten, it's gonna be me. No.
Yeah. No.
No, I don't think that. Well, the other thing is, and you and I have talked about this privately. I'm not sure I've said it on the show, but a lot of times in my own therapy and stuff, the actual psychological issues or the things that I'm just having a hard time overcoming or even just like coping mechanisms and things, a lot of that issues is stemmed more to my relationship with you or Mama or Papa or these other people. Most people would assume, Nathaniel's dad wasn't a great guy. He's not around. Right. Everything's on him. That it's very easy to go, it's probably a dad thing.
Yeah.
It's really not a lot of times, and I think it's because the simple fact that he was not there to do the damage often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I do think his absence
part of that could be denial as well.
Yeah, no, I think his absence undoubtedly created some core wounds.
Sure.
That my perspective, I can see them come up in you.
Yeah.
So I see, but absolutely no. The greatest impact is going to be your primary caregiver, which is your grandparents, I guess. So, so
for
really,
the first time ever, you should
really.
Just let
I
it go.
Shouldn't.
Well, it's not. It's kind of that. Also, kind of maybe creates a scale or a balance that's not correct. Like if you take all of the things that I struggle with as far as like a day-to-day thing, to me at least, they're very minuscule compared to these major like violent drug-induced alcohol. You know what I mean? Like these other topics that I would akin more to my relationship with him.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily plague me day to day.
Yeah.
But they're bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean? Like that's what's tricky about it. Like maybe it's almost an even balance because there is so much more when you're interacting with a person every day, but it's not like I was being hit at home or anything like that.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say it.
Except for a couple times.
And you probably did get discipline and it was back at corporal punishment time when you were raised, but now I didn't. Yeah, no, you weren't First off, you were a good kid, so I'll put that out there. You actually were a really good kid. You've always been a good kid. Don't worry about all of that. Yeah, but there's, I'm glad to hear you say, because I hope that there's a part of you at least that knows, like, you're good, right?
Oh, there's not a part.
Like, you're good. You do have human things.
No, I literally can't even internalize it as you're saying it.
In therapy, but like, you've turned out really well. There's no major anything wrong with you. You've got drive. You've got value. Like, you're good. And I need you to shake your head because it's also helpful for me to know that my child is good.
I understand that it would benefit you.
You actually are. That's
I am, but I'm not also. I think in an effort to
You're human.
not ignore the negative.
Yeah, no, you've got
I'm not
human
as
things.
willing to acknowledge the positive, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, we all know ourselves better than anyone. Like, what's inside, I think I'm a very... damaged is maybe not even the right word, because a lot of times, and this is 100% honest and vulnerable, and there's some relief for you in this statement. A lot of times, damaged implies that it came from somebody else. I think a vast majority of the pain and the challenges and the setbacks and the just real, like, just fuckery that I endured came from me. A lot of it.
It came from how you interpreted your experiences.
Sure. Was it motivated from others, or was it, was it a product of my environment? Sure. Yeah. Of course it was. Yeah. But the degree of which I was hard on me, or that I wouldn't allow me space for this or that, and still don't, to some degree still don't.
Yeah.
I do take a pretty significant amount of the blame there and go that I don't, it's almost unfair of me to go, oh, the world's so cruel to me, because nobody's more cruel to me than I am.
Right.
So, and that's just, honestly, that's just age and slowly separating from that and giving myself a little grace that I'm allowed to even acknowledge it.
So, again,
3 years ago, I wouldn't have even been able to say that to you.
As your mom, my experience of that, which, we may have talked about this, but like, I feel like I watched that shift happen when it went from, like, you were okay in the world and there wasn't a lot of self-criticism and you're just out here with imagination and creativity and having fun with life. And
I'm in Vietnam.
You're in Vietnam. Yeah. You're bossing people around left and right.
No, not bossing around, giving orders to inferior soldiers, okay?
And all of that. And then it's like, I watched the switch. I watched it happen to where just the energy and the creativity and the imagination and it all started to shift. And I remember about the time period, but
what is that time period, do you think?
I assumed it was something with peers, and I used to ask you because it was it was elementary school when it started to shift, but it kept shifting and kept shifting. It was late elementary school, and it kept shifting.
But see, the kind of the irony in this is that by the time you're noticing it, it's further along than you notice, and by the time you think it's relieved, it's probably deeper than it's ever been. The self-hate feels strong. I don't know of a time that it's relieved. Oh no, it is now for sure. No, I'm in a much healthier place now. If that's what you're saying, like you don't.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, I think you have a. I'm not saying that you hate yourself or anything like that. Well, I think you're still very hard on yourself.
Yes.
I think you still view yourself as more damaged than anyone else around you would ever.
Yeah, it's almost like someone told me I was crazy all those years.
Who told you were crazy?
Oh boy, folks! Now here's where it's all going to hit that fan up there.
Who told you?
Can you get you? Can you get yourself? I mean, it's literally no. One thing that I do remember coming from, and not just you, but again, you're my predominant interaction as a kid, is that I was perceived as being hyper emotional, and I'm not saying that I wasn't. I was an emotionalized kid. I still am, but it was always painted in a negative. I felt like it was wrong to be emotional.
Yeah,
is how I felt.
Absolutely. Give me all that credit.
But it's probably because you didn't have the skills to deal with this unfiltered 14-year-old boy emotion.
All I needed to know how to do was, how do we fix this? How do we get you out of your emotions, right? The mom part. And why are you aiming them at me? What have I done besides literally try to do everything right, and now.
But that was you taking that personal, whereas really anybody who would have poked would have gotten bit.
All right, so here we go.
I think.
Let me go all the way back. Here's where it gets real, and we're not going to have it. This ain't about you. This is about. I don't know how we got on you.
Well, you know what we can do? It'll take about an hour to get the storage off these phones, but we can do a part 2 back to back if you want to just keep it rolling.
This is about my life. It's going to be real. It's going to be raw. It's going to be honest.
Okay.
You're probably going to hear things you haven't heard.
I doubt it.
Do you want it?
I mean, whatever you're comfortable with sharing on the show. I mean, that's...
I don't care. Again, I don't care.
I am of the belief that at least one time or another, I've probably heard all of it. But what you want to share is fine. I don't care.
All of this, let me ask you why, I need a notebook.
Before we do this.
To lead up to why, right?
But you're just providing context for how, right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Here.
Whatever I wasn't really going to write it.
Oh, sorry. I was being serious.
See, I'm funny. So this is to provide why
this is not a comedy.
I couldn't handle your outburst or your negative feeling, whatever you want to call them, right? I felt like when they were brought to me, you definitely didn't come to me with tears. You definitely didn't come to me with sadness and say, Mom, I need to talk to you. It was...
Well, no 14-year-old boy does.
Right, of course.
There's a level of that,
absolutely.
Too. Yeah.
But why it hit me the way that it hit me when you started doing this. Okay. Right. So in my childhood, and I'm gonna
Cliff Notes it.
I'm gonna Cliff Notes it, yes. So... verbal and physical abuse, like daily,
right? Hourly.
The tension in my home, like the walking on eggshells, like the unpredictability, the chaos, the
tension, as in trying not to stir the pot, trying not to light the fuse, trying to just tiptoe around,
trying to stay out of the way,
right?
Trying not
just
to
don't set them off,
bother anyone or anything,
right?
All of that made me pretty sensitive to aggression.
Sure.
Right. And then we've kind of got to do that. So the body responses, and then also the attachment style weave in. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but essentially it's from that in childhood where I basically learn, right? I kind of have to self-soothe.
Sure.
Because there's not going to be anybody available to do that because they're fighting in the other room.
Right.
And so it's best that I keep my emotions inside. It's best that I self-soothe. And I did that at the time through religion that I had been taught. So this is why religion...
Now we're getting...
Okay.
Also, you better hope Memo never finds this episode, but go ahead.
Why? No, she knows.
Because then she's going to have to come on and fact check you. Also,
we talk all the time.
That is important, though, just as a quick side, is that in the same way that I discuss my narrative memory of my childhood and you are in utter disbelief, you get so frustrated when you try to talk about your childhood and Memo's like, that never happened. It's the same shit. It's literally the same dynamic. See?
No,
but then when I'm
kidding.
But when I say, no, it happened, you go, ugh. And I guarantee you it's going to be the same with my kids. There's a level of this that I think is just natural.
Of course
but
it is.
Up until recently, I don't know that, at least on my side, I was aware of it or willing to come to that conclusion of like, yeah, sometimes we just see stuff different and that's all right.
Oh, yeah. There's, what do they say? There's your truth, there's my truth, and then there's the real truth, right?
It's somewhere in the middle.
So, or
way out. It's on another planet. Yeah.
So the reason that, and I'm not talking anything negatively about Memo because I was just honestly just trying to be kind because I know your connection with Papa, but no, Papa was the source of all of that.
Sure.
Right? He was the abuser, period.
Right.
My mom was so wrapped up in the abusive toxic cycle, right, that she was pretty much brainwashed in a lot of ways.
Her reactions sometimes only made things more difficult.
Absolutely. Right. And her inability to leave for different reasons. It started with needing to be loved and approved of and not left and abandoned. And then it went over into fear because she was being threatened. And then it went over to finances.
And she has kids. That's an element too.
Kids.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying that she couldn't have made different moves.
Sure.
But I don't think she could have at that time. I also think that Papa, again... it's hard. The child part of me is like, don't say it. Right?
Say whatever.
But I do think that, I don't know that Papaw had a lot of choices either at the time. I think he made some bad moves for sure, but I think he didn't know how to control his anger because it was, for one, it was accepted more back then, right? And there was a lot of like false beliefs of I'm king of the hats and king of my castle and I rule whatever. Yeah. So moving along.
But your relationship that you're talking about with him then, I think is interesting, at least, to me, and I assume to the listener, because typically on this show and even talking bits, he's painted in such a different light. And the thing that I've always told folks when especially Haley or anybody very intimate, is that in some ways I've always kind of viewed it as he was my childhood hero and your childhood villain. Yeah. But he's the same person.
He is.
Which is so interesting that a person can, and that's not to say that he just did a full 180 switch one day and never had, both. Right. That's not to say that there weren't some positives at some points, which you also at times buck against. But when you were a kid, very few even, something. But
yeah, there were times, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, I'll write that
down
too.
There was definitely times.
Right. But sorry, go ahead. So then after that childhood phase.
Especially the Steelers one, right? That was a really good day. It's not, and Dad,
the Steelers one?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, if they won a football game.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we had a good day in the house.
That's hilarious.
Literally, that was true.
Yeah.
There was times
it's
where...
so, trivial, but meaningful.
Absolutely. Yeah. We knew when the game come on, right? If the score
I bet you were
started going down, yes, it was like, get that out. Right, because dishes
I
are
bet
gonna
you
fly.
hated the Baltimore Ravens because they used to beat the Steelers every year.
It was horrible. It was a big deal.
That's funny.
But no, yes,
that's funny, but it's not.
There was good times, but I don't think I'm exaggerating, and I think because it's confirmed by the entire family system that it was a very tense environment, and I had to learn how to self-soothe, and I learned not to express emotions and kind of developed a mindset of, you know what, nobody's going to be here for you and nobody's going to protect you. That was a big one. So the dad qualities. And so you just got to kind of fend for yourself and make things happen for yourself. Now combine that with the fact that there was trauma experiences, which limits your imagination and your capacity, and there was not a secure home base and a secure attachment, so that limits my ability to go be free in the world and do it on myself. So it was really the tension inside of me, it was like, well, I can be bad all by myself, but also I have no idea how to do that and I'm scared to death.
Well, also maybe this is starting to almost sound like I have somehow led this conversation that you feel you need to justify which I don't, but I'm just saying that's not the intention of it and never has been my intent.
I'm not justifying.
In fact, I'm typically the first person to say, yes, these are the facts of the case, but also, in fact, just the other night I was alone in the apartment for some reason I was thinking about my age in 20, which it's kind of been a big thing for me right now. Just I'm going through a lot on a personal level. Of course. Right. It's tough age is what I'm told. But anyways, I was thinking about being 25 and the fact that I would be 8. You know what I mean? Like that, and occasionally that pops into my head in situations and stuff. But when I think about that, immediately I go, oh, then nothing. Then I basically went through nothing. Like if we allow that amount of justification, then what you managed to do from my age 0 to age 8, thinking of me being 25 now, trying to do, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I would pale in comparison to what you did. No, I do know. I know that just now at 25, do I feel confident in doing anything in life? Far and away, raising a child and molding a mind. Now, part of that probably is that you really didn't have, you had a choice, but once you made that choice to invest and be a single mom, then there's not really any going back. I mean, you could just be a shitty mom, I guess, at any point. You could have just chosen that.
But again, so you say, I feel like I'm not staying on track at all in any form or capacity here in this episode.
Welcome to Mind Over Matter.
I feel like I've never actually finished one full trail.
Welcome to Mind Over Matter.
But you say that you couldn't, and you can't imagine in any capacity, right? But again, if you were to have it, I'm not suggesting you have one right now, but if you were, or if you would have had one back when you were 17, 18 years old, you would bond in a way, right, that you wouldn't have to know how to do it.
Right.
Right.
It's not a choice.
It's not just not a choice. It's not like I have to now take care of this child that I'm responsible for. I think, especially because your attachment style is very similar to mine, I think it would be, oh my gosh, this is the best feeling. This is the most secure relationship or the most secure I have felt in my life. And you're motivated to do it. Right. Like it's a drive that comes up in you.
Sure. Well, but all that emphasis on that bond and that connection only makes sense why then when it naturally starts to switch.
Oh my God.
It's damaging.
You're dead on.
But that's because you're coming at it with all this preloaded weight that not every mother is, because their childhood's different and their traumas are different.
Yeah, so this is where I take, I do take, and that's what I've always said, I take responsibility that I lost my mind when you wanted to pull away and become independent and autonomous,
I remember.
It's like,
and I'll just write that down.
What are you doing? Where are you going? So that's on me, and I wasn't prepared for it, and I didn't understand it. And I think I tried to talk to you like, hey, why don't you come, whatever, hang out? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You hated everything I invited you to do. So
what would an example of that be? Because I'm not being silly. I just don't actually remember.
Nathaniel, come upstairs and whatever.
Oh, this is at the point when we were living with Brad.
That's really when it turned.
In my mind, damage is done by the time.
Yeah. That's when it turned into maybe you having, I don't want to say, maybe it is courage, when you actually used a assertive/aggressive tone towards me.
So you interpret that as that's when I was initially hurt due to the fact that the language changed or the energy changed.
I think that's when I don't think you talked to me about your hurt. In a different way before that. I don't remember you trying to come to me and talk to me about anything like that. I still don't really. Right. So,
but also that's not exclusive to my relationship with you.
Yeah.
You also got to remember that, well, you do remember because you're you. That I literally watched you on basically a daily basis reject all help, charity,
of course,
assistance from everyone in your life that loved you and was trying to help. So, I'm very much the same.
Because I had decided by the age of 5 that I had to do it on my own.
Right. Because you can't rely on anyone else. But I'm saying
that was a blueprint map.
Right, but when that's duplicated in your offspring, you're like, where the hell did you get this from?
What's your problem?
Right. That makes no sense.
Why don't you allow me to help you? Right. Because again, you were the exception to that for me.
Yeah, but I don't know that.
Oh my God. I know you do.
Proactively as a kid.
Yeah, no, you don't know that.
I just
That's
watched,
all on me.
one thing I do, and this is kind of just a funny example, is I remember leaving our trailer that I described. In order to leave the driveway, we would have to pass their trailer where the grandparents lived.
Yeah.
And pretty often when leaving, Papa would exit as he would see us leaving, and he would exit and stand near your window as we're driving by and try to give you money or try to tell you what to, I remember there was a disagreement about a video game at one point that he tried to insist that you buy me this. There was all this different stuff, and so it was we had to drive past, basically reject charity every time we left the thing. And I remember sitting there going, take it.
I didn't need it.
Just take it. We can eat. Just eat it. Just take the money and we can do whatever.
We ate every
I know we ate, but
you ate.
You know what I'm saying.
2 dinners every night.
I did. But no, I'm saying just take it was as a kid, because I'm we could do more stuff. We could buy more, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been the last person I would have took it from.
Right. But again, especially at that age, having no context of your relationship with him. And I think that came somewhere in there. I know that we lived at the trailer. I remember, I remember. It
became a bad incident between you and him where I had to tell you. There was one. There was only one. So
I know the incident. I do know the incident.
That's the only, to my knowledge.
And I think I've maybe even talked about it on somewhere.
It doesn't matter. Before. I don't know.
Right.
But I would have, had you not found the journal that I wrote when I was pregnant about your papa, I would have probably never shared that with you unless it was necessary later in life.
I think and maybe part of it is just as a kid, I think sometimes we underestimate what kids pick up on too. Like even just vibes in the or something. Like obviously I didn't know the specific instances of your childhood, but I think I was pretty aware that there's kind of a cloudy past that they're hiding from me. Maybe is a safe assumption. But then yes, there's one incident where, and also there's alcohol involved. There's a lot involved, but the outcome of that incident was very different from yours.
Yes.
In that. Maybe I'll just do a quick thing. Is like there's alcohol involved. There's a disagreement. There's an argument.
Alcohol? Okay.
From my memory, yeah. But there's a disagreement in the room. I'm there. He lashes out
at Memo.
I try to interject.
I'm not there.
You're not there. I'm probably. I mean, we're at the house in Bluntville, so I'm probably somewhere between 8 and 12.
Yeah.
We'll just say 10. Median.
You're young.
Median age. Yeah. But for probably what was the first time, I bucked up on him a little bit and got defensive over her. And he did not respond well to that. And there was a kind of a physical interaction. I was not severely hurt or anything. To even call it abuse is maybe a little extreme.
Right.
But there was an interaction. And so then I come and, sure. Maybe, again, here I go protecting. I do that.
If nothing else, I mean, the emotional impact of that is...
Oh, sure. No, there was a big impact for sure.
Yeah.
But the product of that is I walk that long walk home, 27 steps from their front door to our back door. And then I go up the stairs and I don't know if do you remember, did I just bust in and start telling you what happened? I would imagine.
You didn't just tell me what happened. You were very upset and I had to ask you what's going on.
Right.
So
knowing what I know about you, what prevented you from just going down there and just...
I think I did.
Oh.
I was just trying to...
Because I don't remember
think
that
this through
part
with
of
Memo
it.
the other day because she has, again, 3 different memories
I'm sure
of the
she
same
doesn't
experience. But I either called immediately or went down there immediately. I don't remember which one it was.
It's hilarious if you called. You're like, I'll come down there.
I feel like I walked in because I remember Memo specifically because I was like, that's it. We're out by tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're never going to see him again.
Right.
I mean,
because that triggered everything that had been dormant in you for
everything. Because I
years.
just, by that point, I was convinced that he would never show that side with you.
Right.
And I felt safe with him.
And to his credit, he never did again.
He didn't. But once he broke that, the dam was broke. Holy hell.
Sure.
And so I remember Mama like, no, sis, go no. Like she did. She always mediated.
Yeah. Pouring water on the flames.
And it was like, nope, we're out. And I remember like packing and everything. But
really? See, I don't. And I may have not been in the room, or like I didn't know that side. I'm sure I didn't go with you when you went down there, or wasn't on the call. No. But what I do remember is that at some point the same night, I guess just sort of that like uneasy feeling of like, this is the person that I love so much. Why did they do this to me? There's a lot of confusion as a kid. There's all this stuff. But something overwhelmingly just told me to go back down there. And I did. Do you remember that?
If you did, you snuck out because there's no way I'd have let you go.
Well, maybe
back
I
down
did because
there.
I even remember. This is so funny how like sometimes sensory can be tied in the memory. I remember that the walk from our back door to their front door at night was kind of scary because I was kind of scared of the dark as a kid because we were out in the woods. And that I don't know what time of year it was, but that I wore slides or maybe even barefoot. So I remember the feeling of the cold, wet grass on my feet as I'm in a robe or shorts or something walking down there to him. Because I remember when I walked in, it was slides. I had to kick off the shoes because they were wet from the grass as I come in. So I come in and Memo's on the couch, and I'm sure she probably tried to dissuade me from going back there. So I don't really remember. But I go back to the bedroom where he is, and as soon as I turn the corner, I could kind of tell, and I'm 10 at the time, but in my memory, it feels like he probably was expecting anybody but me to come through that door. And I kind of watched him drop this, you know what I mean? Like, he maybe thought it was you coming in the door and he's on the defense, or it was Memo and he's on the blah, blah, blah. But when I come in, I just watched it all fall. And I think I just started crying, if I remember correctly. And I crawled up in the bed with him, and I remember him saying, if not verbatim, damn close, let's never do this again.
Oh, yeah. No, that was not the first time he said that.
To me?
No, to people. He said that to me my whole childhood.
But here's the point I'm trying to illustrate.
But then he never did.
Right. that time he got it right. He actually did do it. Right. And sometimes there is even, and this is something that comes up in therapy for me a lot, there's almost a sense of guilt sometimes in the relationship that I got to have with him. And like the beauty and the bond that you didn't, or Duke didn't, that so many people didn't have that experience with him, that sometimes when I talk about it, it's almost like we're talking about two different people.
Well, Duke,
and in a way we are.
Duke had a different experience too. My brother Duke had a different experience too, because again, he was the boy, and it was different back then, right? Like he did spend more time with Dad, and it was geared toward him. And I was kind of like
they went on hunting trips and fishing trips, and stuff.
He took him to work, and so I think he has more positive memories where I was more like mom and mama, like over here. Right. And I think even Dad didn't know what to do with me. I mean, I think it was like, she's a girl.
Yeah.
And that's, again, culture, and that's that time
He didn't even know what to do with me because I wasn't this hyper masculine playing in the mud boy. Yeah. Like, even that at times was like, why do you want to do that?
Yeah, but it was your reaction, and then I don't remember, but I'm sure he must have apologized to me and guaranteed never again or something. And I can't even believe that even that stopped me.
Right.
But it did. And I probably thought of your relationship with him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, much like...
And I greatly appreciate his papa part.
Right. That it really is almost two different people. Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, there's little... Like that moment, that interaction is a definite kind of glimpse at the other... You know, and to... Ironically, right now in therapy, I'm kind of working through this like Jekyll and Hyde thing, where at times I do feel, I think it's a very masculine thing. I know it is. I mean, it's confirmed. But you know, we all do kind of feel like there's a beast in us. There's a different thing in us. So there's glimpses at his. I don't know which one's which, Jekyll or Hyde. Honestly,
Dr. Jekyll.
I can't read, but whichever one. There's a glimpse at the other in both. But that's also just like the nuance of being a human. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all of us, and again, this is just my perception from being in the field. That's two personality types, or two selves, or two parts. Right. There's a lot more we can add to that, right? Yeah. And so, but for Dad, it was dominant, right? So the whole world view of him was, what a great guy, man. He's a good friend. Provider. He was. Like, he really was.
Hard worker.
Anybody that knew him from work or horseshoes, he played horseshoes a lot, or...
well, that's actually
best guy in the world.
That's what I was going to say. You mentioned different parts of him. I think because of the bond that he and I had, I would maybe argue that I got to experience those other parts more than you did. It's like a access, like a fee to enter type of deal. Because of his love and connection to me, he allowed me in some of those spaces. Like, he used to take me to this campground most every weekend for a pretty big chunk of my life. I went and hung out with a bunch of 70-year-old men, which is why I am the way I am. And they would just be disgusting. But being around them, well, in a lot of ways, not just in a perverted way, that too. But
did you ever tell you about when I wrecked up there? Never mind.
Oh yeah. No, let's not. We don't have that much time. I don't even want to. Yeah, we don't have that much time. But being in those circles, it is exactly what you're saying. And I got to see his friends who were also, that environment of the campground was also like, they were all there without their wives and without them. You know what I mean? It's kind of a locker room, like, boy fest at age 70. It's like their equivalent of going out to the club or whatever.
Good times.
It's a good times.
I hate I missed it, really.
Well, honestly, it was kind of fun. I mean, I kind of liked it. But and when I say gross too, the thing that pops in my head, it's just like some of the stuff that those old dudes would eat is like, what? The depression is over. We don't have to eat like this
sardines.
Anymore. Sardines. They would do weird combinations. They do peanut butter and pickle sandwiches. They would do, the camp favorite at the time was to take a Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie, split it, and put a Kraft single on it.
Ooh.
An orange Kraft single.
No.
Horrific. And there's something, I don't know. I joke about the depression thing, but I think it really is like a socioeconomic layover from their childhoods and even their parents' childhoods, that they would just eat just nonsense, like you said, canned fish, potted meat, all that stuff. I remember the other camp delicacy was their version of a Bloody Mary, which is, I think it's actually known as a red eye. I never heard them call it that, but they would just take a Bud Light that was half drank and pour a small can of Campbell's tomato soup into it. and that's a Bloody Mary.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting.
That's disgusting.
But as a 12-year-old, I'm watching this and going, this is what adults do? This is disgusting. This is weird.
Mm-hmm. This is also like every time you talk about Papa or your dad or, well, basically any time that I wasn't with you, I'm like,
why did I let him go?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, why did you even have the opportunity to be in these situations?
Well, I can answer that.
70-year-old men talking trash.
I can answer that.
And locker talking.
Because, and you mentioned it in
oatmeal pies.
That's just gross. But you mentioned it in passing earlier in this episode, in that, and I say it, a lot of things that I say, ironically, all the positive things I have to say about you, I never actually say to you. I say it to everyone else, which I understand is problematic, but it's just...
It's not problematic. It's actually a problem with being vulnerable, so go ahead.
Okay, well, it's a problem being vulnerable. What I'm trying to be vulnerable here and say is that what I'll often say about the dad example, for sure, is that, yes, I was exposed to things that I maybe shouldn't have been. And yes, there were like psychological and at times maybe even physical repercussions of you allowing me to be in those environments. But I think that your desire to facilitate my relationship with him was so strong that even knowing, and a lot of stuff you had
Dad?
Yes. I think a lot of ways you had no way of knowing what I was encountering while I'm there with him at any number of different houses that he stayed at. But you so badly wanted to give him the room to allow that relationship that you would also, we should say, and full credit, and I've said it 1,000 times, you would drive me because he couldn't drive.
Right.
So Sundays or whenever, typically Sundays, I would get in the car and you would take me to, again, any number of houses all over the area where he was living at the time, drop me off, and then later pick me up, or if it was an overnight thing, pick me up. I mean, there's a lot of transportation involved and all these things. Or if we're having some outing, which we rarely did, I assume you probably sent me with money for that because he didn't have. So in an effort to allow your son to have a relationship with his dad, you allowed me to be exposed to some negative things. But I think, again, it's a little bit biased because I'm the product of these stories, is I would prefer that to the opposite of, like, I wasn't allowed to see my dad because of fear, even if you were correct in your fears about what I would be experiencing. I think I would have later on resented you more for that.
Well, all I can say is it's good that I was naive, because had I known, had I even had like an inkling that he would be dumb enough to expose you to some of the things that I hear you talk about.
And there wasn't a lot. I mean, we're talking about 3 or 4 instances over 15 years. As far as big major players. Now, was there drug use in the house, alcoholism, all these things? Sure.
I feel like that was important for me to know.
Well, and I say drug use, I mean, like...
Pot.
Right. One thing that happened to me later in life is when I get older and I'm hanging out with friends or whatever, I remember thinking, oh, this is what Dad's apartment smelled like all the time. Like, I thought he just had a skunk in the vents or something.
Oh, it was such a big deal when I first started dating him, seeing him, right? It was like trying to hide the fact that he smoked marijuana from my mom and my grandmother.
But also the perception of that 30 years ago was so different than now.
It was heroin.
Right.
It was heroin, and he was going to take me down with him and taint me.
Going to hell.
Yes. And so
the devil's lettuce, they call it.
They didn't like him from the beginning.
And they didn't until the end.
And so here's your grandmother, not my grandmother, but your grandmother with her soft heart. I eventually kind of started winning her over with sad stories about him and his life and how she needs to give him a chance. And
she's not going to like that.
Doesn't God say that everybody deserves a chance?
That's going to be her least favorite part of the episode.
And so I don't think she was ignorant, but I think that she did soften a little and was like, okay, well, as she puts it, she trusted me. She trusted me.
Which was a mistake.
Never
trust your kids.
I meant what I was saying at the time. Sure. Yes.
But you were also kind of being bamboozled a little bit too.
Oh my gosh. I guess, unless he just
he's good at that.
Woke up a different person one day.
That's the thing about, someone who, and again, sometimes this just becomes the let's bash on Nathaniel's dad show. And especially with you.
I'm here for it.
Well,
that's what I want to say. Like, I'm here for that. I have no guilt. I
was concerned about that when knowing you're coming in, because I genuinely do not want this to turn into that, because
I'm neutral on him. I think I told you this recently.
I don't know if I'm neutral, but
I can understand why
you're disconnected.
You wouldn't be.
Right.
I'm absolutely neutral.
Sure.
It doesn't. I don't even feel the impact of what all happened unless someone or my mind goes back and travels back there.
Sure.
Now I can again in a very disconnected manner say, oh, what he did caused a lot of my relationship issues and
then your son's relationship issues that he can't solve. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm pretty disconnected.
Maybe
from
my
that.
kids will be all right. I don't know. We'll get it.
Well, they will, because they're going to have a good grandmother.
Oh.
Right?
A good what?
A grandmother, a yaya.
I knew it. We got her, folks. Grandma it is. Too late. You locked it in.
I'm okay with grandmother.
No, yaya's better.
Yeah. But they will have a consistent good yaya, I would think.
Also, at this point, we may have already lost the video. So
That's
we have, this is not even going to be in the episode. But if it is, and you're still...
Like we need to come back and start all over and stay more focused and actually go somewhere in the episode.
We did go. We went a lot of places.
I feel like we went like this.
That's great.
All right.
That's podcasting. Welcome. It's not like this is not a TED Talk. You're not here for a topic.
I feel like
it's just a conversation.
Okay.
It's more natural. That's what I do enjoy about it, actually.
Go.
But, I mean, well, what a great way to have a conversation. Go.
Now.
Man, has anyone ever told you what a strong communicator you are? Well, actually, while we're there, let me reference this. Another common thing that is said to me from coworkers, who many of them were also your coworkers at one point, unfortunately. They and other people who just know you. And so the thing I get a lot is like, oh, your mom's a therapist. She must have been a great mom. She must have just like nailed it. She must have.
My favorite.
Well, over time it's evolved. My response now typically is, well, therapists are just people too. Like,
well, there's a reason that they.
There's a reason they are therapists, even. Sure, but I think a lot of people. It's easy to categorize. You meet a policeman and you think, oh, that guy's a cop. That's all you think about that stranger you just met,
right?
Or the cop who walks up to your window. You don't think he's got a life and family and traumas and all this stuff.
Right.
So when people hear, oh, your mom's a therapist, they're like, I bet she was really in touch with your feelings, and I bet she really worked through a lot. And I just go, yeah. To all their each is what I would say. But that to me is funny, because it's like I have friends who, their parents have different occupations, and I don't think I would ever, just me personally, I wouldn't be like, oh, your dad's a whatever. That must have automatically mean he was a great dad.
Right.
But for therapist is one of those that they just assume must have been a great.
Well, not only a great parent, but just like a well-rounded human being.
Right. She's got all her shit together, and by the time you came along.
5 points of wellness are just on
just
point
a
all
North
the time.
Star. Just a constant North Star.
Yeah. So I get that, even if, somebody's like, hey, what do you do? I'm a therapist. It's like, oh, really? Like,
you must be so great.
I feel like they have this vision of me like doing yoga at 6 a.m. with the sunrise, right? Sure. And going on retreat, although I did go on a horse retreat recently, so some of that's true. But yeah, they have a vision.
I have literally tuned that out of my memory. The fact that you went on a wild horse retreat, It
was a good retreat. I will say it didn't go how I thought it was going to go. I really liked the horses, but I ended up finding myself beside of a teepee in a field, an open field, like got quite a few ticks on me.
That's
crying,
right, folks.
For like an hour because.
And it all started with the first dread that you put in your head. So that's another thing that I'm sure, that's a lot of comic feedback a lot of times too. Because I used to have jokes about you having dreads, which I didn't do in that longer set. I should have.
Yeah, these are really old.
I really got to spend more time drilling dreads.
You on stage. I need to have a different one, and these are really old and gross.
Well,
I need to.
I'm glad you put them on for the episode.
Well, my new ones will be here next week.
Okay. Well, we'll do part 2 then, maybe. Okay. We probably should wrap it up, because at this point, I'm not even sure if it's still rolling. Is there anything, I would imagine after a conversation like this, you probably don't want to plug the business or anything. Like, you don't want this.
Anybody to know who I am.
You don't want this attached.
Or where I'm from.
I'll leave your name off. I'll just put my mother on the episode. It's just my mother. We never even said your name,
Yeah,
so
no.
it's probably safe. But is there any parting closing argument? I mean, what's go ahead, whatever it is.
No, I think just to reiterate, like, do your exploration, grow in the ways you want to grow. Oh, I'll add this to my credit, right? The fact that you're out here doing the exploration and exploring and chasing dreams and goals, you got to have a secure base to be able to do that. And that secure base is built from ages 0 to 2.
Or perhaps the lack thereof.
So, nope, actually, no, not at all.
Well,
we didn't
also,
get into attachment styles. We'll do that.
0 to 2 is I'll agree with you on whatever you want to say, because I literally can't
and
argue
unfortunately,
against it.
that's when the blueprint is actually laid down. But yeah, no, I just finish. You're good. You're good. You're human.
Don't buy it.
You're going to
folks.
process it.
Nobody's going to believe
but
you.
you're good.
Anyone who knows me is going to hear
I
that
don't
and
care
go, "She's
if
full of
anyone
shit."
else believes it. I hope that you believe.
No,
that
I know
eventually.
that parts. To go back to the parts thing, there are parts of me that are. There are parts of me that are not good in a sense of they're self-destructive or they're irrational or over-analytic. There's 1,000 different things that I could talk about that are. But having some awareness of what is good and more than the awareness, like learning to lean into those and to trust those and allow those or grow those is, I guess, kind of where I'm at. Because I do joke that I don't think I'm just an evil human being with no redeemable qualities or anything like that. But I do think that the good parts of me, often I struggle to acknowledge, obviously, or to grow or advance.
Yeah, and I can say, of course, part of it is coming from mom and you're my kid, so I'm going to say you're good. But no, I think that when I look through a therapist lens, and I have to sort of remove myself as mom, but like, no, you're a high functioning young adult doing great things.
High functioning sounds not great.
I didn't say high functioning on the spectrum.
I was about to say,
I said high functioning
labeling
adult.
your son. I'm so proud of my son. He's high functioning. That does not sound great.
So
no, I do know what you're saying. We can't end on a real note. I literally can't.
That's what I have.
I know, but I'm saying
I need you to just shh.
The ability to end something without satire is
just
not
receive it.
Okay, I receive
and just sort of embody it and just let it be.
Okay, let it be.
It's fine.
Hey, to all their each.
To all their each.
Okay.
There you go. End on a joke.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Bye, guys.